Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. My name is Amir, and in today's episode, I'm going to talk about a report that came out where Shams says he believes that there's a framework that is in place where the Miami Heat can offer a specific package to acquire Damian Lillard from the Portland Trailblazers. I'm also going to talk about the Portland Trailblazers GM Joe Cronin. He just had a press conference today at the Las Vegas Summer League. And then the Miami Heat also had a Summer League game against the Phoenix Suns. But before I do get into the video, I am new to YouTube and I was hoping that you guys could subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. And if you could like and comment on this video, if you could provide any feedback or if you have any questions regarding the material from this video, I would really appreciate that. So thanks again, and let's get started. So as I mentioned, there was a report that Shams put out yesterday, and he was on the Pat McAfee show, and he said that there is a framework where the Portland Trailblazers could potentially get 3 to 4 first round picks from the Miami Heat as part of a package for the Damian Lillard sweepstakes. And we already know this. I mean, Bleacher Report, ESPN, all the major media publication aggregators keep repurposing, regurgitating the same information pretty much every day because it's been relatively quiet on the Damian Lillard front in the last few days. As we know that most important people and executives and NBA players and stars are in Las Vegas watching the Las Vegas Summer League tournament this week. So it has been relatively quiet. So we keep getting articles that we've already basically read or getting information that we've already known. Joe Cronin has mentioned that he wants the best package possible for Damian Lillard. They are about to lose their best franchise player in Portland history, and so they want to make sure that they do get a significant package in return. And they mentioned that they wanted something similar to the Rudy Gobert trade last year to the Timberwolves, where they got 4 first-round picks and players, which we all know that trade was totally not worth it. But in my opinion, Damian Lillard and Rudy Gobert are not on the same level at all by any means. Rudy's a good player, but he's not a superstar like Damian Lillard. So that package was super unreasonable, and even the Portland Trailblazers can expect to get something similar to what even Donovan Mitchell perhaps got, which was 3 first-round picks, which was great, but they also got Lauri Markkanen, who became an all-star, first-time all-star. He's a good player, but I don't know if he's going to be a consistent all-star, but he is still relatively young, so who knows, possibly, but they got Markkanen and a couple of other players that I can't remember on the top of my head right now, but pretty good trade package. But we all know that Portland has mentioned that they want young players and quality players, aka some star players or ready to contribute stars. So nothing new there in terms of this framework. There was also a report that said that executives from other teams have stated that they would be willing to give up a first round pick for Tyler Hero, which to me is also evident. I mean, why wouldn't you give up a first round pick for Tyler Hero? He's averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, pretty much back-to-back years, and he's only been in the NBA for 3 years. He's super young, has a lot of potential and upside. Doesn't have the best contract, but it's not horrible. It's 4 years, $30 million on that extension that he received this last summer. So yeah, there's nothing new there. So the Heat obviously need a third team, possibly a fourth team, which again, that's not new. And the idea is that Miami could potentially trade 2 picks. They could also unlock a third pick from the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then they would be able to trade Tyler Hero to a third team like the Spurs or the Nets, and one of those teams can provide another first-round pick. So that could be anywhere from 3 to 4 right there, and you can throw in players from either the Spurs or the Nets, like a Ben Simmons perhaps. And then from the Miami Heat, we can give up our young talent like Nikola Jovic, our rookie we just drafted, Jaime Jaquez, Kyle Lowry, who's on a $30 million expiring contract, which could be beneficial to a young developing team like the Portland Trailblazers. And we can also throw in sweeteners like Caleb Martin, or if they want to take on Duncan Robinson, which I don't know if they would, honestly, because of his contract. He still has 2 years left and around $40 million or so. So I don't know if they would want to take on that contract, but not a lot of new information on that front. We already know that there is a framework. We already know that Portland wants to take their time and get the best package possible because it obviously makes sense. They're giving up their best player in the history of the franchise. And they also know that they're not going to get anything equal in return. That's just not possible when you're trading a superstar. So, yeah. So, on to the next topic. So, today, Joe Cronin, as I mentioned, had a press conference at the Las Vegas Summer League tournament. And this was one of the first times he's spoken to the media recently. And at the conference, he said, I think what I've learned more than anything is patience is critical. Don't be reactive. Don't jump at things just to seemingly solve a problem. I think the teams that have ended up in the most positive situations post-trade have been the ones that have been really diligent in taking their time and not being impulsive, or the teams that really kept their urgency under control. So I think that's how my approach has been with this and will be with this. We're going to be patient. We're going to do what's best for our team. We're going to see how this lands, and if it takes months, it takes months. Nothing, again, new there. Obviously, he's doing his due diligence. He wants to end up with the best package possible for the team. I understand it must be frustrating. I couldn't imagine being a Portland Trailblazers fan and losing our star player. So I understand he doesn't want to be reactive. He wants to put feelers out there to see what other pieces he can get as part of a 3-team or 4-team or even 5-team trade with the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat simply don't have enough, which is fair in my opinion. But the part that annoys Heat fans is reading that if it takes months, it takes months. We have been impatiently waiting on the edge of our seats for this trade to happen. It's only been a little over a week since Dame requested a trade officially, which was huge and a big deal. And then, of course, mentioning that he only wants to go to Miami. And all that information about his agent, Goodwin, saying to other teams that, Dame won't report or they'll get a disgruntled player if they do decide to trade for him. So nothing new there. But yeah, I don't know. I just am starting to get impatient, and I'm hoping this doesn't take months to accomplish. We all know that Dame only wants to go to the Heat and that it's inevitable. So why not make this deal sooner than later? I mean, in my opinion, I feel like they've had to have had conversations, possibly in Vegas this week. I know that they mentioned that they were going to meet the Miami Heat front office, and the Portland Trailblazers are going to meet sometime in Vegas. Cronin mentioned that he didn't want to talk about any trade negotiations and mentioned that he hasn't had any conversations with the Heat in Vegas thus far, but that's hard to believe in my opinion. So I just think it just doesn't make complete sense on the Trailblazer side to take months upon months or even go into the regular season without trading Damian Lillard to the Miami Heat. I think if they are going to receive some young talent, because they mentioned in this press conference that they're willing to take on obviously stars and young quality players or ready now players, as he mentioned. They're also ready to take on a package of all first round picks, which they're open to, he said. If that's the case, then sure, they can wait because they're not going to be able to get those. They're not going to be able to use those picks until the future. But if they are going to get a package where they're going to implement new assets, new players, young talent, they might as well get them into the facility, onboarded into their system so they can meet their players and be ready for training camp before the season starts. So why prolong this and let it linger? We all know that Dame wants to go to Miami and only to Miami. So let's make this happen. I think it's going to happen this week, as I mentioned in my last video, that it will probably happen in Vegas during the Summer League. It could happen by the end of the week. by the end of the tournament. If not, it's going to happen, in my opinion, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, possibly by the end of July latest, I would say. So who knows? 3 weeks, this week, it's going to happen. That's my opinion. And I understand, again, where Cronin's coming from. He mentioned that he thinks he failed Damian Lillard, and that he was upset that they weren't able to find the talent and build a better team around him. He said for the past 18 months he's been searching for opportunities to find a Dame Lillard equivalent in a front court player, and he said that he was even willing to take on a player that was 80% comparison to Damian Lillard, but there was no one out there at the time. So he said last year they had the 7th pick and they were looking to trade that for win now players, and they couldn't find anybody on the market, so they drafted Shannon Sharp. And same with this year. Dame kind of had an ultimatum saying, I don't want to be on a rebuilding team, and that they should trade the 3rd pick in order to get some sort of star player or veteran NBA player. And Cronin said the same thing, that he looked for the opportunity to find and trade that 3rd pick for star talent, and there was nothing available out there. And so there's nothing better than Scoot, who he thinks is going to be a generational talent, and he's not like normal 19-year-olds. He thinks that he's going to be a ready now player in the next few years, but I think it always takes time. It's a big leap going from the G League Ignite team to an NBA team, so I think it's going to take him 3 years or so to develop into a really good player. He also mentioned Anthony Simons is also a great, capable player that's able to score in volume efficiently and effectively. So another young piece that's great. So he thinks he has the good talent there, and it was just disappointed that he couldn't retain Dame. But he also said something that made me happy, was that he does care about Dame. He does want Dame to succeed and to be happy in the future, which means if that's the case, then you have to trade him to the Miami Heat. He never said he's not going to trade them to the Miami Heat, obviously, but to make him happy, let's just get this deal done and make it official. But either way, I was glad to hear that he said apparently that he does care about Damian Lillard and his future, which means then he should grant him his wish and trade him to the Miami Heat. So we'll see. I'm still expecting something to happen within the week at Summer League, and if not, within the end of the month. But yeah, let's just be patient and wait and see what happens, and I'm excited, for the outcome. We just got to hold on. The last thing I want to talk about is Summer League. I didn't watch the entire game. I only watched the first half. The Miami Heat played the Phoenix Suns today and lost in the Las Vegas Summer League 73-70. In the first quarter, the Miami Heat were pretty terrible with the ball. They were really careless. They had 9 turnovers within the first 7 minutes in the first quarter. Horrible. It was not really fun to watch, but the Heat were able to chip away, come back, keep it close, but ultimately the game was just too sloppy and they weren't able to win. Nikola Jovic actually played, so he did have a foot injury in the first game of the Summer League, and he was able to play, but he looked a little hobbled and hindered by the foot injury. He only played 18 minutes and had like 4 points and 3 rebounds, so not effective at all. But Orlando Robinson, pretty decent game. Of course, he didn't have his monster game like he did last game with 36 points and 11 boards, but he did have 16 points and 11 rebounds. He shot 6 from 10 from the field, so super efficient. 2 from 2 from the line, and then 1 from 3 from 3-point range. So that's good that he's, taking those shots. The only issue he had this game was he had 6 turnovers in the game. I don't know how many Miami had overall. I just know that they had 9 in the first quarter. So the Heat are 1-1. I'm just happy to see Orlando with another solid outing. So hoping, he can continue this effort and get more double-doubles throughout this Summer League tournament. And he, again, signed a standard contract during the offseason, and he is going to be a viable option, and he's going to definitely challenge Thomas Bryant for minutes as the Miami Heat's backup center. So happy to see him succeed again. Unfortunately, the Heat didn't get the W, but we'll see what happens. They play again in a few days, and so yeah, once that game happens, I'll probably get on here and do a quick recap as well. But anyway, that's all the time I have for today. Thanks for watching the video. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps. I'm on my way to 100 subs, so would love to get there as soon as possible. So thanks for the support, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.